left off on the theme of coaching culture. Now, I imagine as HR practitioners, all of you are working every day to create an organization of engagement, to retain and attract people in your organization, to support and grow your people. That is more and more the work of HR. It's less and less about the backroom functional and more about the leadership and the development of your people. I think we all experienced this. For me, the watershed was about 10 years ago when Peter Senge came out with his book called The Fifth Discipline. And in that book, he coined the term leadership learning organization. Learning organization. And he said the organizations of the future, the organizations of the present that are going to be successful are those organizations that are able to continually learn and renew themselves. Because in the fast-paced world that Bill was just speaking of, if we stand in one place very long, we get passed by pretty quickly. So we need organizations that can learn. And Senge talked about a number of ways that that could happen. He talked about personal mastery, for example, recognizing the importance of growth and learning and development at the individual level for every person in the organization. And when you think about what we're saying, and we think about the history of executive coaching, it started at the top of the organization with external coaches, didn't it? It were the top people in the organizations that were getting the coaching when it first started to become used. And what we're seeing now is it's filtering down through the organizations that more and more people have access to coaching and coaching help. And I think that's one of the big things that's driving the demand for internal coaches. If we're going to create successful learning organizations, we need to create an environment and support inside that environment for people to learn and grow continuously. And coaching is about learning and growing continuously. So I think this is a useful model. If you're sitting there thinking strategically, I've got to go back to my office and my company and my organization, and I need a strategy to think about ways that I can bring coaching in. We see three main ports of entry that people are using to bring coaching into the organization. So Bill's already said quite a bit about executive coaching. That's where we see it most frequently. It starts with the top people. They get the support of an external executive coach. We're also seeing, this is a second strategy, more and more organizations are using coaching as an adjunct to soft skill learning, in particular, leadership learning. If you can wrap coaching around communication skills or leadership skills learning, the retention and the take-up rate is significantly higher with the follow-on coaching. That's very much a part of our work in teaching coaching skills in organizations. We wrap coaching around all of our teaching work as well, because we recognize that the uptake is so much more significant. And then finally, the notion of creating internal coaches. The notion of providing coaching skills to leaders. So that, to some extent, I think ultimately in the coaching culture, everybody has the skill and capacity to host a coaching conversation. They know how to sit down with somebody and have a coaching conversation that facilitates somebody else's learning and growth. So you might go into a colleague's office and say, John, I've got this problem about such and such. Will you coach me? And John could be anybody in the organization. And John says, sure, I've got 10 minutes, let's go. What do you want out of the conversation? And away they go. And John is able to coach him in the moment about that one topic. And our friend gets up and says, thank you very much, I'm off. So in a coaching culture, that kind of conversation would be happening all over the place at various times between people of different relationships, different places in the hierarchy.